Katrina Kaif, thanks very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
It's been an amazing few years in Bollywood, a complete turnaround, as it were. What were those years like, and what's the view like from the top?
The way I kind of have seen my journey so far, as you could say, is I've really kind of seen it like just one little step at a time, and every little step that I took, it just kind of seemed to go well, and it just kind of seemed to turn out right. Like we have many people who have come into the film industry with one film, and then it was like instant superstardom, and you know, the next best thing has arrived. With me, that never really happened. It kind of was. I got known in the modeling circles from doing ads, doing a lot of TV ads, from doing a lot of shows. Then, you know, I think after about a year and a half of doing that, then I went into, you know, my first Hindi film, which was, it was like nice. Everything was nice, you know, theek hai, okay, it's all right. And then with the next film, then it was a little bit better, and then a little bit better, and it just was a very gradual process. So there never really was one moment where it was like all of a sudden I'm here and now I'm here. You know,
it's interesting you said that, a gradual process, and perhaps it makes it seem so much better now because it was that way. But it was more creditable because you were a complete outsider. You started with modeling. You literally came into Bollywood films out of the blue. How difficult were those initial days for you?
See, I've done my fair share of groundwork, I would call it, but I really did that more in the modeling industry. Like I've gone to all the Bombay, Lower Parel offices where I had to take my pictures and, you know, go to O&M and go to Lintas and say, you know, if you have any castings, please call me. Because that's how you get ad films. You have to go and attend castings where 300 models, 200 models come and they, you know, hold a placard and with their name, and then they, you know, pretend they're putting on the soap or pretend they're watching TV. I would have been apt to be judged. You know, then I see it. I was just about 17. I knew nothing about cinema, nothing about films, nothing about even like the camera. Like they used to have to tell me, like, Katrina, the camera's here. Try to be in front of it. And I don't know anything about it. I was like a little babe in the woods, you would call. You know, I just didn't have a clue what I was doing. I was just kind of in that in-between phase in my life where I didn't know which direction I was going in. And I think the only saving grace for me is that that film is an English film. So I don't call that film my first Hindi film. I call it my first film. But my first Hindi film, which is in Hindi, obviously in Boom I spoke only in English. The first Hindi film I did was actually Ram Gopal Varma's Sarkar, which was a small role. So that for me are two very separate phases kind of in my life. And if I saw the film now, I would be the first person to say that nothing positive about the film.
Our first question from NDTV.com, a viewer writes in, Neil from New Zealand, and he says that you're his role model. He lives in New Zealand. He's Indian, but he doesn't know Hindi. And he says that you've inspired him because you came from outside. You didn't know Hindi, but you took Hindi diction classes, you took dance classes, Kathak classes, I read, for up to 7 hours. The criticism actually drive you. Felt people said, oh, she can't speak Hindi, oh, she can't.
I don't even remember it now because it's not a criticism to say I couldn't speak Hindi, because I couldn't speak Hindi. A criticism is when you say, oh, someone's not acting well, and you're like, yeah, I'm acting fine. But I didn't speak Hindi. I was 17. I'd never heard a word in Hindi before I came to the country. I don't know, I'd not seen a Hindi film probably. I'd probably maybe seen a clip on Channel 4 or something in London. So I was a complete outsider. So I didn't take that criticism. I don't even hear it. I don't even remember it, to be honest. I was too much in my own world. You know, now when I read a review, it's only now, like in the last year or two, that I'm aware of what's around me and aware of the film industry.
Katrina, we talk about criticism, and of course now if you were aware of the film industry and the way it works, and often there's lots of personal criticism. And this recent controversy about whether you're Indian or not, or what your name was. How would you define yourself as an Indian film actress? Do you see yourself as Indian?
I think it's hysterical because when I was growing up in London, or when I was in London for a few years, I was always made very aware of the fact that I was Indian.
Tuba.com